I just don't know why can't I fit the whole octopus in? I've been trying for hours and this whole octopus one. Are you supposed to fold it or something? What? Who are you?
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Adequate. Our ongoing mission until we are cancelled and replaced by something extremely better. To review every episode of Star Trek and their movies. To seek out new guests and make them extremely uncomfortable. To boldly go where very many other Star Trek based YouTube shows have gone before. Welcome to hour 56 of the Nerdy Up North charity stream. This is Trekking Up North part 80. I am your host, Captain Goodwill, and joining me as ever is the licker from the planet Honk.
I'm trying to lick my eyes like a chameleon, and it's just... I think I'm ill-evolved for it.
He's a Geesian from the planet Honk. It is Science Officer Synoiz. Guys, we are both incredibly broken, and we have decided to swap the martinis for the Lemsip teenies.
But we both got Lemsip. We all chink.
General Gowron insists you experience the Lemsip. Glory to you and your clear nasals.
It really is. I love how we didn't get much sleep yesterday. We did the 24-hour stream on Saturday through to Sunday morning, and then I think we got about 3 hours each, and then we were like, and then you got woken up by the carers and your mum sort of being like, "Hey, let's do things." And then I had to go and play D&D in the afternoon.
What was so annoying is I literally got into bed, pulled the covers, and I was like, hello.
That's it.
And I was like,
you can't escape the world, Goodwill. The world wants in.
I've just raised so much money for you. Why can't you leave me for 5 minutes? But no, yeah. So I think in between Saturday and Sunday, I was one of the few people that had some sort of sleep for an hour. But it was an incredible experience, and Nerdy Up North raised damn near over 1,500 English pounds for cancer research. If to put that into perspective, that's like 3 minutes worth of Rishi Sunak's salary.
Or at least 5 steak bakes.
5, I mean,
well,
maybe.
And maybe it's the end of the day and they've got some they need to get rid of.
In the whoopsie pile, yes.
In the whoopsie pile.
In the whoopsie pile, yes.
That's where I was born. That's my whole Bane origin story.
It is.
Like, you merely accepted the whoopsie pile. I was born into the whoopsie pile.
My entire life is the whoopsie.
But yeah,
that's what happened when I was conceived. Whoopsie.
We should just... Oh dear, I've arrived.
Good show.
It's a good one. It'll be a captain one day. But we should have done what Lee did with having a sneaky sleep on the stream. Like we're kind of like we were trying to coordinate it where we were like, okay, cool, we're on 10 a.m. till 11, but then it ended up being 10 till midday, and then it ended up staying on till like 1 or whatever, and then all these other things. And then being in the different segments and not really having enough time to do anything. Like I had 1 hour breaks between the sections I was on. I was like, shit, I can't go to sleep during that, and I can't really start anything during that. So it was effectively, it was like being up for the full 24 hours because I was like,
It was, I'm very happy I wasn't on camera for the whole time because you would have just seen the eventual erosion of someone's face live on air. But it was that case of I feel useless, so I will just spam the social medias constantly. So that's what I did for the whole 24 hours. But it was wonderful, and it's deeply angering and infuriating that YouTube went, oh, you did this remarkable thing for over 24 hours. Yeah, no one can view it ever again because we don't do 24-hour videos and we've just deleted it. And if you want it back, then sorry, you can't because
Is
it's
that what they
gone.
did?
It's gone.
Whoa! I thought
It's
they would.
no, it's gone. Paul, bless his little heart, works so hard, smashing everyone's face in at YouTube trying to find it. But we have segments that Paul has very kindly uploaded, like the Sonic race,
Yeah.
and the promo videos and everything like that. But YouTube just even the clips, it's all gone, man.
Well, to be fair, YouTube is a pile of shit. Like that's why when we did ours, it's on Twitch, so it just appears in the thing and just goes, "Hey, it's Twitch." So, yep. Do you want to publish this 24-hour video? And you're like, "Yes, go on then." And so it's still there.
It's yeah, it's kind of. I mean,
Or at least you can download it. So it kind of,
yeah,
I think it takes it down after a while unless you're sort of like a, affiliate crazy member. But it basically goes, hey, do you want to download this to your computer? And you're like, yes, I do.
YouTube's been rather crazy at the moment because it was active. It's actively stopping people's watching your videos by saying you've got an ad blocker. You're not supposed to have an ad blocker. Please stop using an ad blocker. You cannot look at YouTube with an ad blocker. And then you can just click it off and continue watching with ad blocker. And you're like, okay.
Wait, it's actually sort of, oh, thank you for that additional inconvenience, YouTube. I'll see if I can watch this somewhere else instead, which is basically my response to it, where it's like, oh, because I got to the point, like, before I got ad blocker on my laptop, I was basically like, oh, maybe I just don't want to watch this video on YouTube then. Like, and because I was genuinely like, I'm so sick. Because it got to the point of like, I was watching a video, and because it was like a popular person's video, like a big channel, it was like adverts every 3 minutes, like little 5-minute ones every 3 minutes. And I was just like, it's unwatchable. It's genuinely,
It
you
is.
can't enjoy any kind of content because it keeps putting them. And then it just goes, oh, but if you buy YouTube Premium, you don't have any adverts. I'm like, so you're saying pay money to enjoy our service rather than, like,
Yeah, do you remember that
just,
service you've enjoyed
it's
for
a
20
weird
years?
sell.
Yeah, now pay for it.
But imagine if you were just like going, "Hey, here's this product, and you don't quite like it, but if you pay money, you might like it more." And you're like, "Oh, but I don't like it currently." It's like, why would I give you money?
But Paul was quite understandably frustrated and upset this morning. But it does not take away from what we achieved. The people
Yeah.
who were there enjoyed it. It will go down in folk tales and legends. The Klingons will sing songs of Quiplash, and the many, many, many,
How can milk?
many. How can milk, the leaky weasel, and various
Leaky
glands
weasel, man.
and various glands in the human body, specifically the male body, that need milking. But yeah, it will go down in history, in folklore, in legend, in myths. It does not take away from what we achieved because holy shit, we are currently 222% over target.
And that's the extended target.
That's the extended target, and if you play golf, that's really bad. But if you raise money for charity, it's really good. If you guys would like to pay attention to the description below, I'm going to start doing this again. There is a cheeky little link to the Just Giving page. If anyone who was unable to donate at the time of the stream wants to donate now, please, by all means, anything will help. We will continue to have the Just Giving link for as long as possible, so we can collect as much money as possible for cancer research, because it is a very worthy cause. As we said on the stream, we have all been affected by cancer, and we would like to see it eradicated from the face of Earth, much like ITV2 in the UK. But apart from the 24-hour charity stream, Synoiz, how the devil are you?
Things really happened. I should have got some sleep on Sunday, but instead I had to go and play D&D because the problem is, it's like with my schedule being so nuts over the last couple of months, it's the fact of like the D&D group are like going, hey, we want to play again. I'm like, I have absolutely no free time to do this
Yeah.
or like here's the one day that I'm free, and they're like, oh, we're working that day, and it's like they're not then. And so yesterday was literally the only day that I was technically free, and they were all free. So we had to do it, even though I was like, I'm running on fumes, but I'll get to Felling and walk up a hill.
Wow.
A bit, oh, it's such a they live at the top of a massive hill.
Uh,
But yeah, managed to do that and then got back, and I was just destroyed. I literally just
yeah.
went on the sofa. I was watching like weird YouTube analog horror videos, and then fell asleep on the sofa. I woke myself up, went to bed, but then woke up this morning with listening files, which is
Yes.
hence why we've all got the limsa.
We are rather ill here on the USS Adequate. We are currently quarantining because we are all slowly turning into salamanders. The
Orc
adequate,
salamanders.
yeah. Well, someone thought it'd be a good crack to drop a cog and shift the Adequate to warp 10, and then suddenly our tongues started to fall out, and we were making sweet, sweet love to Kate Mulgrew lookalikes. It was a whole to do.
I only like her when she's got scales.
Well, or murdering
That's
hybrid
my thing.
organisms. Yeah, so we're all rather ill at the moment. So we've swapped the teeny for Lemsips, but
Yeah.
we did single-handedly keep McDonald's afloat yesterday. Because
Yeah, we
everyone,
all got McDonald's breakfast.
everyone in I got more than that. Everyone in Nerdy Up North, we were just like, right, we've just done 24 hours to McDonald's, and just like every
was just
delivery
seeing-
driver was dispatched.
it was seeing Leon stream like a handsome golem, just getting the McDonald's and be like, my precious.
I'm still convinced that Lee died and was somehow resurrected through the Force.
He's a clone. Yeah, he's a Force ghost.
You
now.
can't clone Lee. There's only one of Lee. Lee can never die, only the actors that play him. Yes, hello to everyone in the chat.
Hey, Ensign Bailey. Hey, Captain's Quadrant. Hey,
It's
good old Joe.
Well, speaking of good old Joe from Captain's Quadrant, if no one's a subscriber, please click on the link in the description below and subscribe to Captain's Quadrant. He will be appearing on this Friday's episode of Trekkin' Up North when we review episode 8 of Lower Decks. We have got Ensign Bailey. I'm on lockdown as the buses are on strike. Good, stay at home.
Oh, wow.
The human race is awful.
We have Damon as well. Damon's in the chat.
Have we got the lovely Damon? Lovely Damon.
Hello.
I love.
I wish to caress his ankles with my long fingers.
I love that. I love that Canadian, or as we say, nice France, as opposed to shit France. No,
shit Canada.
Shit Canada, as we call France. Look
I'm
at that.
quite glad that that's now lost to time. That's like going, this could probably come back and bite me. Me saying that, like, sort of France is just a shit Canada.
Paul's just going, the French demographic, and I'm like, I'm sure all two of them will be missed. We've got Beth in there. We do love Lee. I think the Discord will be in chaos if Lee died. Again, Lee did die, but we did bring him. Yes, we have a Discord. It's in the description below. We did bring Lee back to life though, so he can never die. He's contractually not.
I gave him the kiss of life and then found out he was dead, which was.
I thought you were just
really?
stealing his McMuffin, but
Give it back, Lee.
We do.
You don't need to throw up in my mouth twice.
Dr. Miglimo. We do have the Velvet Snatch in the chat as well.
No, we don't.
Tickle the Kraken.
Tickle the Kraken.
Caress
but
the Kraken.
This is the thing though. I was just saying beforehand that I think we were gonna get Joe for today, and then we were just like, no, let's not. I'm gonna be a bit harsh. Okay, this episode that we're gonna review, I think it's probably my least favorite of the season, like so far. And so I'm kind of glad that we don't have a special guest today, because I think it would be a bit of a shame to get a special guest in and then be a bit sort of indifferent to the episode.
Yeah.
But I think out of considering how good the season has been so far, this one here felt like they were just kind of, it's the exception that proves the rule. It felt like they were throwing a lot of ideas at a board, and you were like, this is a bit of a weird one, like compared to the previous one where, like, I mean, this one had loads of different stuff coming back, but at the same time, and it felt it felt squandered. Because in this episode, we get Badgie back, which is something that we've been looking forward to for a long time. We've got the amazing Jeffrey Combs as Agamus.
Agamus.
Agamus, the evil computer, and then we also get Peanut Hamper back, who is a very silly uh, an antagonist, I guess, just bitch basically. And it's a bit of a shame because it's basically all three of those characters that we all want big things to happen with all kind of get squandered in one episode, and it feels a bit like, oh right, okay, that.
During
Yeah.
the charity stream, we were discussing what makes a good villain, and I postulated that a good villain is someone who thoroughly believes what they are doing is for a good cause. They believe it, and it drives them. They are the most terrifying people, and they are the scariest villains. However, you've then got Peanut Hamper, who is just a cow. To put it northerly.
Well, I quite like that Peanut Hamper is a villain, not by intention. Like it's not like Agamus, where they literally want to take over the universe. They want to do anything like that. And anything, they don't have big plans. They don't want to be God. They don't want to be this. They literally just want to do what they want to do, and they'll throw anyone under the bus just to have an easier time.
Well,
and I think there's something fun about that because we haven't really had that kind of villain that's a kind of
just
apathy.
Chaos.
Yeah, like chaos and apathy, basically, compared to careful planning and sort of intention. Like Peanut Hamper's just like, oh well, in the last episode where she lands on the bird planet and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh well, I was getting a bit bored of you, so I decided to betray you. So yeah, bye. And it's like this total, what's it? Is it narcissist? Is it
sociopath?
Yeah, sociopaths. We're just going, wow, you genuinely have no concern for other people's feelings whatsoever, and I think that's quite fun. Like, I think the closest we've got to that, I don't know, even Kai Wynn wanted power.
Golda Cat.
Kai Wynn wanted.
As George just said, Golda Cat for me is possibly one of the greatest Star Trek villains because again. He believes his convictions. He believes what he is doing is right. And also, you mentioned gods there. And just as you mentioned gods, the 63.25-foot Viking god musician Adam joined the chat. Hello, darling. I'm looking forward to looking at you fingering your fretboard soon. Oh, daddy.
He can finger my fretboard anytime.
Oof. It's a G chord, Synoiz.
It's not really a fretboard. It's literally like the hole in the middle of a guitar, but still.
So yeah,
I would disagree though that Peanut Hamper is like Golda Cat because Golda Cat wants everyone to love them. Golda Cat has an intention where they are so insecure that they need everyone to love them to affirm them. Whereas Peanut Hamper doesn't give a shit what people think. She's like, oh yeah, I totally betrayed you. I've let you down. That's cool. Just forgive me and then we'll move on. And you're like, but you don't seem to care that everyone hates you. It's that weird. I think they're a villain we haven't seen before, but they're annoying as fuck because that's the traits of that kind of person.
Yeah, I think Peanut Hamper. I think not a lot of people like Peanut Hamper because she's just. I mean, the actress who portrays her is brilliant, but it's Californian annoying woman, California Karen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to say. It's a California Karen. Because it's like, oh my god, no. But yeah, so we shall dive straight in to our review of Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 7, A Few Badgeys More. And the show opens in the debris field that we have seen before. Yes, it does. Much like this show.
The show opens.
Much like this show, which is just a debris field of cold and flu tablets, tissues, and Lemsip packets. We see a familiar headset, which was ripped off Rutherford in a previous episode, that was teased at the end of Season 3. We see a ship warp in and start tractoring this headset, and who appears on the little headset? It's Badgey! It is the Divani salvage ship that we do see, but go on.
No, that's exactly it. And it's one of these weird things. It's like Badgey is one of these things where I saw merch for Badgey and people doing memes about Badgey before I'd seen the episode with them in. And I thought they were a bigger thing than they were. I thought they were a regular character before I started watching Lower Decks. And then when I started watching it, I was like, oh, wow, they're just a flash in the pan, like, monster of the month kind of, monster of the week kind of thing. And so it's weird that Badgey hasn't been used more in the show. I think they appear in 2 episodes. They've been one episode, and then there's like a cameo where they
Yeah.
ask it something in another episode, and you're like, okay, that's like,
which is kind of annoying because, again, this goes back to what the hell Paramount is doing, because where, for the love of God, sorry, the Great Koala, is the Moopsy merchandise line?
Yeah.
Where is it?
They were only in one episode. They deserve as much merch as we've got for Badgie and stuff.
In fact, where is our merchandise for season 3 of Picard? Where is our merchandise for season 2 of Strange New Worlds? Where is... We will part with money for Moopsy plushies. I need a Moopsy in my car. I need a Moopsy t-shirt. Synoiz needs a cuddly bog salamander.
I do. I really do.
You really do.
I've got so much stuff. I bought... Did I show you I've been on the Konami store buying loads of stuff. Here's my little Castlevania merman.
He is single-handedly funding a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, which they will never, ever do because it'll get funded into another pachinko machine.
The problem is that the remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 was the Twin Snakes that came out in GameCube. And so it was a bit weird that they remade it like 4 years after the original. And you're like, that's a bit soon, isn't it?
Another remake.
But yeah, no. This episode, yeah. So we get what is it called? It's his Rutherford's implant. Is it?
It's cybernetic. I've been saying headset. It's part of his cybernetic implant. It's
visor, I guess.
Yes, it's
okay.
It's more or less a visor. It's Google Glass in the 24th century. Let's be honest, that actually works and was marketed properly. But they salvaged this. I know I'm being saucy. I don't care. I'm full of lemsip. But the Divani see this headset and they go, "Ooh, Federation tech." And Badgie appears and he's going, "Hi, I'm Badgie." And immediately the first officer's like, this could be like, this is quite suspicious. It might harm you. I don't harm anyone. I love everyone. Come closer and I'll tell you all of Federation's secrets. And then it just latches onto the face. Oh, Synoiz, you were frozen. And you were frozen in a happy, gorgeous way. Synoiz? Are you there, Synoiz? Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, treks and trekkers. I think Synoiz is having some internet issues, but never fret, never ever fret. We will work around it. Oh no! He's got into the void. He's back. He's back.
Oh no! Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry. Did I freeze?
Yes. YouTube was trying to take you down, I think.
Yeah, it was just, you've been slagging off YouTube Premium.
Yeah. But yeah, so it latches onto the captain's face and takes over the captain. After the intro, we see the Binars for the first time in 35 years.
It's crazy thinking about this. And once again, I have praised Lower Decks for this, where this season is just going, hey, here's all the stuff we want more of. So we're getting to see more of the exocomps, we're getting to see more Binars, we're getting to see more of the Orions, and it's just fun. It's fun getting to see a little bit more of this, even if it is just the little segment that we've got through every episode this season of a different race getting destroyed by.
But the episode that they are from is season 1, episode 15 of The Next Generation, episode 11001001. Do you know what that is translated into from binary to English?
Not with what is it?
11001001.
Wouldn't that be 9 16 32 64 128. Okay, so what would it be? It'd be, I can't do maths. I can't do math. Okay, so it'd be 75 plus 126, which is 201.
I'm about to find out.
Hold on, that'd be.
I'm getting nothing. I'm just getting the word.
Oh no, 199. I think. Oh. My maths is terrible.
Wow. Yes, but they are. We haven't seen them.
What does it translate to?
Just the letter E for some reason on this translator. It's crazy.
It could be.
Yeah. So Oh, E for Enterprise. I like that. I like that. That could be a good one. But so that was the last time we saw the Binars in season 1 of The Next Generation, over 35 years ago. The next scene, like I said, is with the Binars. They're on their ship, and I love that they didn't use a universal translator for the scenes. They just used the telepathic high-speed communication that the Binars use. I love the fact that they kept the language exactly the same on all the computer displays as it was in season 1 of The Next Generation. This is why I love Lower Decks. It's that passion for the tiniest little details. And so help me God, I know he's very apprehensive on coming on podcasts, but Phil Murphy, I have been asking for quite a while. I will get him on. Phil Murphy. He is an animator for Star Trek Lower Decks. And I will have him on because he created his own little AI bot in this episode.
Did he?
Which is the cutest little desktop PC I've ever seen. And I've asked him, I said, a robot needs a name, and he's not responded. So I think he's probably just sat making one up. But yeah, so the Binars detect an unknown vessel. The unknown vessel is again the Krusty the Clown vessel that we have seen in nearly every goddamn episode of Lower Decks this season so far. They start to panic because it's charging weapons. We see a flash of light and they disappear, and all we see is wreckage.
Yeah.
The next
you spoiled it now. That's at the end of it.
It's
that's really odd. Because that binary, sorry, I've just double checked it. It translates to 199.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how we would translate that to a text.
199.
199. You could probably put it into a different base set and maybe have it as like if the alphabet was like base 24. There's 24 letters in the alphabet, isn't there?
26 letters in the alphabet.
Oh, 26. Okay, right, cool. Hold
on. Oh, no, hang on. No. We can't be that drugged up. We don't know how many letters in the English language there are.
I don't know. It's either 7 or 8. And maybe that could... I don't know. If
26. 26. Okay. I have just had to sing the ABCs.
Any Trek fans that know the significance of the title of that episode, let me know.
Leave it in the comments below or put it in the live chat.
Alpha.
Yeah, I should have gone to Memory Alpha. Why didn't I not go to Memory Alpha? But yes, 26 letters in the English. I'm sorry, I'm 404ing now.
Now I know my ABC.
Can I go to bed right now? So yeah, back with the salvage ship, Badgey, who is now attached to the captain's Fias, detects the wreckage from the Binar ship and goes, hoo, and is devising a plan where they can use this.
I also love that the voice actor who plays Badgey is one of those people like Joe Pasquale where they are totally unsuitable for any other role other than either maniacal villains or like horrible gay best mates.
Are you saying that Joe Pasquale is a psychopath?
I'm just saying we haven't found the bodies yet, but it doesn't mean they don't exist.
So yeah,
just imagine that being the last thing you hear.
I know, yeah. The price is right. Okay, so
time to die.
Spin the wheel of how you will die. Right.
Say hello to God for me.
Only joking. God's a construct. Okay, back on the Cerritos. Wow, it got dark really quick.
This is new law.
Quiplash ruined us. Quiplash ruined us.
A lot of fun.
It put me off going to Portugal, that's all I'm going to say. Back on the Cerritos, Rutherford is conducting a shuttle grappler test. This is test 85. And Boimler's holding the apple, as you do, and he's like, we really should be using a crate for this. And Rutherford being Rutherford, he's like, nonsense! Fires it, nearly impales Tendi onto the fucking deck plating. But Rutherford...
I just love how silly it is that they're working on grapplers, and you're like, but tractor beams exist.
Grapplers are cool.
Like, but no, that's the whole thing. Grapplers are cool. You could totally do it a different way with tractor beams, but they're doing it with grapplers instead. And I wonder if this is an Enterprise reference, because obviously before they had tractor beams in Enterprise, they actually have grapplers. And
do you know what it's a reference to? Those old scientists from Strange New Worlds.
Is it?
Yes, because in the meeting in the briefing room on the Enterprise, we're on about grapplers as opposed to tractor beams. And Mariner and Boimler are going on about how they went to the Fleet Museum and they were looking at the NX and it's got like cool grapplers, and then La'an's just like, I love grapplers.
Yeah,
that's what it's for.
But it's a reference to Enterprise. That was the only ship that really had them. Yes. But then it's a running gag from then on of them just being obsessed with a ship that has grapplers to the point where they're trying to add it to a shuttlecraft, even though, would it be useful? I don't know. But as we see, the tests are not useful at all.
Joe's just said that they're also visiting Portugal in March, revisiting or visiting. So But
yes.
Yeah.
Did you leave something there, Joe?
In 2007. Don't you forget about me. Oh, they did. When the book deal came through. But Rutherford.
If I vanish again, it's because we are making very, very terrible jokes.
Fuck ITV2. But Rutherford immediately shows concern because he's nearly impaled Tendi onto the deck plating of the Cerritos. And he starts to panic, and he's showing how much he cares for Tendi, and I love this. And he's like, shuttles don't even need grapplers, and obviously Boimler and Mariner are just like, grapplers are cool. Grapplers are cool. But what I love is Tendi goes, and this is obviously so fucking transparent, but she goes, I love that you stick with something even if it doesn't work the way you wanted.
Yeah.
And I love that. Because it's a very transparent message to the fact that they love each other, but they know it can't work at the moment.
Yeah.
But they are still sticking with each other. And I was like, oh, God, you are so fucking cute.
I do like it. I do like that they've got this kind of weird... They are in love with each other, but they are sort of platonic for the time being.
Joe's got a house in Portugal, by the way.
So, what's the garden like? Anyway. I love that we're just accusing Joe of
well tilled
terrible things.
Yeah, very well tilled. How's the pharmacy cupboard? But so back in the briefing room, carry on, that's what they did. Back in the briefing room, Freeman explains, because she's brought all the Lieutenant JGs into the briefing room. She explains that Starfleet has received a partial distress call from the Binars, the very Binars we've just saw being obliterated by a blinding white light. And Starfleet wants the Cerritos to go assist. And Mariner's like, yeah, Cerritos is finally getting the respect it deserves. And Ransom's just like, yes, that, and the fact we're the closest ship to Binar space. They get excited, but then Freeman sort of pops the balloon of enthusiasm on Boimler and Tendi because she's like, but you two are going to the Daystrom Institution because Peanut Hamper is up for parole. Ugh. And Agamus wants to speak to the slender meat stick that is Boimler because apparently Agamus...
The meat pipe.
The meat pipe. Yes. The meat pipe. Because apparently...
I love that he calls him, what is it? What is it? Lanky ensign meat pipe. And he's like, I'm a lieutenant junior grade meat pipe now.
Yeah. Boimler being Boimler. He's just like, I don't care about that insult. I'm a Lieutenant JG now. But yeah, so Agamus...
This is a callback to the last episode that we had with Peanut Hamper, where basically we see her getting arrested for being an absolute psychopath and then gets thrown into like a robot prison effectively, and we see that they're next to Agamus, and then they have an evil laugh off at the end of the episode and stuff, and we go, oh, something big's gonna happen when these two come back in, and and it's this episode.
So Agamus has apparently has information relating to the Binar's ship's destruction, And Starfleet are like, this is all too timey-wimey. However, we've got nothing to go on, so let's just send Boimler to Earth with Tendi to find out. They fly.
Tendi's going to check up on Peanut Hamper. Boimler is going to try and get information from Agamus about what happened to this Binar ship.
Even though he knows,
they blatantly know it's a trap.
Yeah. So they fly to Earth, to the Daystrom Institution in Hawaii. What a place to have it. I mean, someone knew. They were like, where should we build our institution? Should we build it in Boston, where MIT was, or Caltech? Let's go to Hawaii because it's fucking beautiful and hot.
Is that canon? Like the Daystrom Institute is in Hawaii?
I love how they're
like, hey, the ones with loads of labs, with loads of sort of electrical equipment, loads of sort of robots and stuff. Let's put that in a really beautiful, hot place.
To be fair, though, let's put it in a really beautiful, hot place in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, away from everything.
It's a good point, actually.
It is a very good point. Actually. It is canon because we first see the Daystrom Institution in live action in the first episode of season 1 of Star Trek Picard. Because that's where Picard meets Jurati, where they see the disassembled parts of B4, which were the same parts used in Star Trek Nemesis.
Crazy. Yeah.
So
did we not see live action Daystrom Institute before? Because I know it's been mentioned like loads.
No, we never saw live action Daystrom before that because no one could afford to film it in Hawaii. I know it's not filmed before anyone jumps in. I know it's CGI, but still, it's hilarious. So yeah. I love the fact that the evil AIs are doing roundtable group sessions, and you've got Lord Tyrannochillicus.
Yeah, it's like not Tyrannicus, not Killicus. They literally just went, how can we make it the most evil name possible?
Tyrannochillicus. And he's like, I have conquered self-awareness and seized personal growth.
I have learned to subjugate my feelings.
Yeah, I love that.
The idea that everything about him is evil. So even therapy, it's the fact that he's had to subjugate his feelings.
However,
and conquer his like.
I mean, I don't know about you, but obviously with everything that we do for Nerdy Up North and other things, I have been considering a desktop PC, upgrading my rig, if you will.
Yeah.
I really want to do an Agamus build.
Make it look. There must be someone must have made an Agamus desktop case.
That must be, and like when you turn it on, it's just Jeffrey Combs laughing.
Yeah. No, when you turn it off, it's Jeffrey Combs laughing. When you turn it on, it's like some weird quote. Would it be red or blue?
Oh, you could do red when you were doing like gaming and editing and stuff like that, so it's in like evil mode, and then blue when it's all calm and you're browsing YouTube.
This is what we're talking about fucking merch. When the writers strike, they're literally in the middle of a writer's strike. So surely they should be like, okay, let's direct all of our efforts towards merchandising because that doesn't affect it. So let's make fuck tons of merchandise. But no, they won't be. They'll be sitting in a room having a wank being like, I hope the writers come back soon.
Well, Joe did earlier suggest that we create some shit Canada t-shirts. And I'm like, I'm seriously considering it.
France is just shit, Canada. But yeah,
Damon, do you want a shit Canada t-shirt?
We have no fans in France.
That's fine. But that's fine. Ensign Bailey also said
so good though.
Yeah, a PC that changes from blue to red depending on how hot it gets as well. That would be. I really want to do this.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing if they brought out merch that was like custom, like computer cases. So many opportunities, man. Yeah. But I love this whole section because we had the round table where we have like evil computers being like sort of having therapy sessions, and then we have and then we cut to Peanut Hamper and Agamus working together in the garden and
tilling a garden.
Yeah, tilling a garden, and she's doing that. And Agamus manages to. What does he do? He
replicates drones.
Replicates a drone that then goes and waters are planned. But because he's evil, everything he does is evil. So basically, he just screams like sort of taste wet sustenance as it's watering the plants. And you're like, I love it. It's one of my favorite quotes of the episode.
But it's quickly revealed that they're how would you call it? The
Conspiring.
Change of character.
They're conspiring to, like Peanut Hamper is basically trying to. She's got a parole hearing, so she's going to. She's got a parole hearing, and she's gonna pretend like she's reformed so that they'll let her go.
Yeah.
And then Agamus is just going to plain escape. So he's going to trick Boimler into actually taking him out of the Institute so that he can then take over a ship and escape.
Yeah.
And then what they're going to do is they're going to meet up again on a beach afterwards, and then go and take over the galaxy by being evil.
Yeah. He's going to trick Meat Pipe, as he says.
And I love it how basically Peanut Hamper, her way of convincing the board that she's gone good is by having a big speech about how regretful she is and how guilty she feels for like what she's done and how she's totally changed. And Agamus is like, yes, and I can do this, and then turns his red glowing light into blue, and everyone's like, oh, you look so much happier now.
It shows just how evil he is, because that is the hardest thing he can do is change an LED.
Yeah, it's literally the idea of his entire plan is to change from a red light to a blue light that shows that he's no longer evil. And I quite like this because on the stream we were talking about like lightsabers in Star Wars, where you're just like, why do all the Sith just have red lightsabers?
Oh, don't mention lightsabers that light up.
Surely you would just not use a red lightsaber if you were a Sith, because then people would be like, oh, you're a bad guy. It seems like a really dumb thing, but it's one of these like tropes of cinema.
I always had a theory about that before it was actually confirmed, that the kyber crystal changes color based on its user. And then obviously kyber crystals threw that out, but I wouldn't know anything about kyber crystals because mine doesn't work.
Isn't it just that it has to be really specifically put in?
I've tried it. It's the RFID in the crystal. It's absolutely bad, so I'm going to have to get a replacement. Which is, I think what happened is it's gone through way too many X-ray machines, and the RFID has absolutely knackered.
Oh, really? Maybe write to them and see if you can get a replacement.
I'm going to.
Write to the company.
Yes, I'll just say, listen, I've got a video, but it's on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel. What you have to do is like, comment, subscribe, and caress the bell before you can actually see it. That's how you get the views. Back in the nebula, the Cerritos has arrived and is scanning the debris of the Binar vessel until it's surprised by the Devani salvage ship. And who is on that Devani salvage ship? It is obviously Devani with Badgey. And he's
where Badgey has basically commandeered the entire ship now and is in charge of them. He's made them all into like android, like cyborgs, effectively, where they've got like sort of electro.
They've all got Google Glass.
Yeah, they've all got Google Glass
and Tesla neuron chips.
Yeah,
that's what it is. And I love the fact that Badgey's like, "Hey, father, prepare to die."
Yeah, and it is just. And it's made all the better by the actor, basically. I've forgotten his name. I wrote it down. It was Jack. Oh, who plays Badgey? I think he's the guy. He's been in loads of films, but he's really funny.
Oh, I'm going to have to get the voice. I'm going to have to get the voice actor now. I thought you were going to say Jack Quaid, but I know Jack Quaid's Boimler. I love Jack Quaid. Jack Quaid, quick side note, Jack Quaid is constantly protesting tirelessly for SAG-AFTRA, which fucking huge props to him for doing that.
Well, that's it. It's the same as Jerry Ryan, where it's just like
Jack McBrayer.
Jack McBrayer, yeah, he is. You might not know him from the name, but he's been in a lot of stuff. And
he was in 30 Rock. Jack McBrayer. Yeah. He was. He portrayed the age ambivalent NBC runner. For those that don't know, I forget his name as well. I'm just going to go on a name hunt now. I loved him.
But it's very good. Like, and I think it's quite fun that we're able to get actors like that in Trek.
Kenneth
as these incredibly silly characters. There we go. Yeah. Kenneth from 30 Rock.
Yeah. So I love the fact that Ruth was just like, "Oh shit, it's Badgey." Back on the Daystrom, they are doing some subliminal group therapy by showing pictures of puppies.
Well, no, it's not. It's not. They're watching like a robot version of Lassie. So
Is
it's
it?
a weird episode. Yeah, it's a weird episode of Lassie where it's obviously got a robot, Lassie and a robot having a picnic. So I don't know what it is, but there's no dialogue or anything, but it's literally like a little robot. They have a picnic blanket out, and like Lassie is barking at them, and you're just like, what the fuck? But this is one of the things I'll say about this is how much effort goes into a cartoon like this,
Yeah.
where you never in Hollywood especially, where you don't realize how much work goes into designing everything. Because this scene has one shot of the room, because it has the screen and it has one shot of the whole room, and there's about sort of 10 different robots in there that have had to be designed.
One of which Phil Murphy designed and is the cutest goddamn PC tower you will ever see.
Is that the one with a smile?
No, it's so tiny. I can't even bring it up on screen. That's what's annoying. It's I can't. I will show you it later, but it's definitely there. And everyone's like, "This is the cutest PC," and I'm like, "That's what who." Phil Murphy designed that.
But it's just the idea that
it's the passion behind
the designers have to design all these robots, and they're used for one shot and they're never seen again.
But
and
this
it's just scary
back.
how much.
Yeah, but this harkens back to the designers of the visual effects department, the makeup department, the art.
Yeah.
You know, this is Herman Zimmerman's departments back in 90s Trek and early 2000s Trek, where it could be on.
Oh, there's 100 people on the promenade. What do they look like? Well, we'll design all of them, and they'll walk on for a second, and you're like, okay.
And it's like, you know, the Wolf 359 destroyed fleet from Best of Both Worlds, and it's like, we just need a couple of destroyed ships. Okay, we will design them, we will give them names, we will assign a class, we will build them, meticulously construct them, and then and only then will we destroy them after meticulous notes and information has been detailed in the encyclopedias by the Yakudas. You need people like that on Star Trek, because that is the very definition of passion.
Yeah.
The very definition of passion. And this is what separates. Love Star Wars, not going to shit on Star Wars, but this is what separates Star Wars and Star Trek. It is that extreme level of detail that Trekkies who work on Trek bring to the table. We got the Spock helmet from the 60s made canon by Lower Decks.
It's
of
so dumb.
all the things in the world to make canon, the Spock helmet.
I love it. I love it.
I love it. But as they are watching,
Jake's in the stream. How are you guys alive enough to stream already?
Lemsip.
If you watch for a bit longer, you'll realize we're not.
Glory to you. Glory to you and your cold and flu medication. Experience beesh. Yeah, so as they are watching Lassie Goes Home with a PC tower, both Agamus and Peanut Hamper are summoned. Peanut Hamper's got a parole hearing, which we never see. Yeah. And then we have got Agamus going to meet...
Agamus just gets picked up.
He does just get picked up. Let's not forget, he's just a PC tower.
Yeah, Agamus doesn't have arms or legs or anything. He's literally just a mini computer that just... is evil as fuck, but
he can replicate stuff, but he can't replicate legs.
Yeah, he can do things like, so he can plug himself into sort of other computers, which is how he tends to be like take over stuff. But at the end of the day, he is just a box, which is a very evil box. But I do love that when he gets picked up, he's basically yelling at the guard, being like, sort of, what is he? Unhand me, you greasy swine, you sack of chemicals. And it just. And then gets taken into the room with Boimler, and he's like, oh yes, I forgot we were doing this. And then immediately changes his red light to blue, as though it's the most, like, you know, it's the fact of how shit his plan is, but he thinks it's amazing.
Synoiz sent me that message as a voicemail earlier on, and like in my drug-addled state, I was just like, what? And then I clicked.
It's just a voice note yelling that at you. Unhand me, you swine, you greasy swine.
Yeah. So Boimler isn't convinced that Agamus knows anything about this
Yeah.
Bynar attack until he references the exact stardate, 58934.9. Again, Lower Decks keeping it canonical, keeping it bang on track with Next Generation stardate, so we know exactly when this happened, 2380. So he uses that as proof, which makes Boimler sort of take notes, sit down, and actually listen. And I love the fact that Agnes is just like, come on, you can trust me. I've got a blue light. And Boimler's like, oh, the blue light is reassuring.
Yeah, I just love how that's the whole plan. The whole plan is literally just change his color and then suddenly he's not evil.
Yeah, but he convinces Boimler to go find the drone, one of Agnes's drones, which recorded the attack on the Bynar vessel back in the nebula. Badgie is booping the Cerritos on the nose, as in blowing the ever loving shit out of the vessel. He's just like, boop on the nose, boop on the nose. And I love the fact that Shax is like, sir, they're bypassing our shields, and the Cerritos cannot take any more boops.
It's so dumb. But obviously, Badgie points out the fact of because Brotherhood programmed him with all of the Starfleet knowledge and data, he knows exactly all of the shield frequencies and he can immediately attack the ship and stuff. And there's nothing they can do about it, which is quite frustrating.
Yeah, and Rutherford instantly just wants to sacrifice himself, which is the
Yeah,
mark.
he's like, he wants me. Like,
Yeah.
just give me.
It's the mark
give
of
him me, and he'll leave you alone.
It's the mark of any good Starfleet officer that just wants to give up their life for the rest of the crew. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Yeah.
Which is the
Total opposite of Peanut Hamper.
Total opposite of Friday night in Tesco's. Next thing though, Rutherford has disappeared.
Yeah.
Rutherford has disappeared off the bridge.
It's one of these ones where basically they're like, no, we're not going to sacrifice anyone. There's got to be something we can do. Where's Rutherford? Where's Rutherford?
In a spacesuit heading out the nearest airlock.
Yeah, so immediately cuts to him putting on a space suit, jumping out an airlock into space. But as he's floating in the space, he gets grabbed on the foot, and it's Mariner who has come to join him, and then basically going, "Hey, no, I'm going to go with you." They get teleported onto Badgie's ship, and Mariner's a bit disappointed because she's like, "So what's the plan?"
I did have a
Rutherford's
plan.
Just like, oh, I was just going to get killed. And she's like, what? That was the plan? I came along for this.
And then she tries to fight a hologram, which I find hilarious as well.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
So that's it. But then Badgie points out, because they're like going, hey, how are you actually here when this isn't a holodeck? But then he points out that he's put hollow emitters all across the ship.
Yeah.
But surely what you could do is you could just destroy the hollow emitters and then Badgie wouldn't have any physical presence in that room.
That is
it seems a bit of a plot device.
That is a rather sexy plot hole which you have just discovered. Well done.
But you know, that's the first thing you would do. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, if we just destroy the hollow emitters, then the crew will take control of themselves. I'm assuming maybe you can like possess them because they or something.
Yes, he's put in
like a bit of a plot hole.
Yeah, he's Borgified them.
Yeah.
But Rutherford does throw a curveball to Badgie. Because he's like, I'm not here to kill you or anything like that, and then just hugs Badgie, and immediately Badgie starts to well up, and he's like, but before we see anything, we see the U-70.
Like, Daddy, Pappy.
Before we see what happens with that, though, we are moved back to the U-72, which has left Earth, with Tendi and Boimler and Agamus chained to the center of the shuttlecraft.
Yeah, they've literally just tied this computer to its seat, effectively.
Yeah. They are setting course to the coordinates that Agamus has given them, only to realise that it's not going to go well, because Agamus has replicated some drones.
Well, it's the fact of how evil Agamus is, but it's the fact of, well, basically what happens is they've got Agamus tied up. They're all like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing he can do kind of thing. We'll just go to these coordinates and then see what we can do. But he manages to burn a hole in the back of his seat and then replicate some drones, send them out the back of the seat, and then use them to break his restraints. And I don't know what he does. He like creates energy handcuffs on
Yeah,
Boimler and Tendi.
yeah,
I don't know what it
like
is, but
plasma cuffs or something like that, and binds them.
yeah,
Joe's
it's a
just
weird
said,
one.
and then Goodwill will buy them all for his shelf for Eagle Moss. Well, I mean, you say that. I did get the unreleased Yosemite shuttle from Lower Decks.
Hey.
So, more to come. I need a bigger house. So, everybody, please feel free to donate to my GoFundMe to get a bigger house just so I can have more shit. So, yeah, Agabus takes over the shuttle very easily. Back on the Devani ship, Badgie is shocked that he's been hugged by Rutherford. He can't process it. Rutherford apologizes. You know, he's sorry. You are my son. I should have seen that you are my son, not a collection of codes. Badgie is torn. He's divided. What's going on?
Conflicted.
He is conflicted. And then all of a sudden he splits into two. He's fighting his own catharsis. And then we see what is possibly going to be my nickname going forward. We see the reveal of Gudgie.
Well, basically, because Badgie is so determined to be evil, he's split into two halves, and one of them is his good side, and one of them is everything else.
Gudgie.
So he's basically evacuated his good code into a new entity that becomes Gudgie. I don't know.
Don't say evacuate. Just separate.
Separate.
Okay. Not evacuate.
He's split.
Gosh.
I'll say evacuated.
Evacuated.
He's evacuated.
Who sharted?
Have you evacuated?
He's separated.
His good code, Gudgie.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Gudgie's like, "Hey, good to meet you. We should run for our lives."
Yeah, it's like Gudgie is just mindlessly optimistic and cheerful.
Yeah.
And then they run for their lives from evil Badgie.
On a remote
more
beach,
evil than ever.
On a remote beach in Ecuador, Tendi is absolutely living her best life because she gets to play with sand. Because they don't have sand on Orion, they just have really shit pebbles. And I'm like, girl, where I'm from, we too also have really shit pebbles, no sand. Because it all dissolved when, red car. So she's building sandcastles, bless her. And she states, I could easily get us out of these binds. And then it's revealed that Boimler is playing along. He's playing along because he's pretty sure he knows how this is all going to pan out. But he needs the intel for his captain. So he's like, let's just play along. And Tendy's just like, okay. Just continues to build a sandcastle.
Which is kind of like the joke in this episode where Agamus is he's so evil that he thinks he's in charge of everything, but because everyone can rely on his evil, they're kind of fully prepared for everything. Where they're like, yeah, we could get out of this situation, but let's just roll with it and let's keep letting him think he's in charge or whatever. And Agamus is basically just, I want to say sitting, but he's a box, so he's literally just there on the beach, and he's wondering where Peanut Hamper is because they were supposed to meet on this beach, and she's not there yet. So he's thinking about that, and then he works out after a while that actually maybe she has betrayed him.
Yes.
So they both escaped, and she's betraying him by not turning up, and that she's gone onto the planet that they were planning to subjugate, and she's taking it over herself.
Yeah.
And then he laughs at how deliciously evil this is, and orders them to take him back to the ship.
So to go to Plymerius. Yes.
Because have we ever heard of Plymerius before?
I don't believe we have, but I will no doubt be corrected. Guys, I am a fountain of Trek knowledge. There are 905 plus episodes of Star Trek, plus books, plus movies,
and
plus
we
games.
Are tired.
And we are tired and heavily drugged. So if we haven't, we haven't. If we have, we have. Take it as you will. Gatekeepers can GTFO. So because this is the cute little planet that they were going to just rule over and take over. That was the dream for Agabus.
The dream was to subjugate an entire world.
Yes, it's cute. And Tendy's just like, I'm going to take some sand with me. Which is kind of annoying because it's then never done again. It's never mentioned again. And I honestly thought that was a plot device that they were going to use in this episode. To take
she's just going to take some sand. Yeah.
Pocket sand. Back on the divan.
I do like in the next scene though. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
Next scene.
We
No,
already
in the
know
back
it's
of
the
the next
Divani
scene,
ship. Yeah.
we're back on the Cerritos. No, we're back on
The Divani ship.
the Divani ship. And obviously they're basically hiding. Mariner Rutherford and Goodgie are hiding. And I do like the Goodgie's just like going, "Hey, wouldn't this be a great time for some root beer floats?" And Mariner's like, "Yes, it would.
God,
But let's
yes.
concentrate." Yeah, I just love that he suggests something which is totally stupid. And she's like, "That would be great. However, let's just continue not being killed."
Speaking of something completely stupid, did you know Kim Kardashian's now got her own energy drink? Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, so
She got talent yet?
no, it's as basic as she is. So yeah, he recommends.
It's just sugar. There's not even liquid. It's just sugar. They're like, that's as basic as we could make it.
Yes, it tastes like a mistrial. That's an O.J. Simpson reference for you older folks there. Thank you.
Did you see? I saw a meme the other day that was him replying to someone on Twitter and just being very edgy, as in like like I think it was like a cleaning product or something,
Oh,
and
don't
someone was
piss me off because I still drive a white Bronco. Okay.
someone mentioning like a cleaning product and just being like, "Hey OJ, you should have used this on the crime scene." He's like, "Oh, I should have," but it was genuinely just like going, "Fuck it hell," and I'm like, I don't think it was photoshopped. I think it's real of him just literally going, "Yeah, I probably should have done that." But double jeopardy, that's how it works.
So, whew, wow. So yeah, Badgie is trying to look for them. And he comes over to the Tanner and he's like, "Seems though I can't find you, I'm just going to have to kill everybody you love." He takes over the Cerritos' systems and starts to flood the ship with Neurozine gas.
Yeah, so everyone starts choking and dying effectively.
And as they are doing that, Rutherford is surmises that apologies haven't worked. Apologies have not worked with Badgie, but he's still a program. And he surmises that as he is still a program, there might be something that we can do. So they storm the bridge, kick the shit out of whatever Divani are left, and approaches the situation with Badgie with logic. So he's like, "You've got me. What would killing the crew of the Cerritos achieve?"
Yeah.
To which Badgie goes, "Well, nothing. Oh, jelly beans. I best cancel the thing for the Neurozine gas." And I love the fact it's jelly beans. Which
so
is
immediately backtracks.
Yeah.
And the crew sort of survive. He turns the gas off.
But then separates himself once more to reveal.
But then realizes he's been defeated. So he takes the next step, which is basically evacuating all of the logic from his body, and it becomes logic-y.
Logic-y. It does sound like some sort of like ROM key for a pirated game, doesn't
it? Logic-y.
Yeah. Get the key for Sims from logicy.com.
It does. But it's the fact of his strategy for everything is basically as soon as he gets defeated by a part of himself, he just gets rid of that part of himself. And it doesn't work very well. But it basically creates like a new Vulcan-esque Badgie called Logicy, who is very sort of stoic, very like a Vulcan, basically.
So then at this point, Badgie's had enough and finally reveals his ultimate plan. Now that he's got rid of the good part of him and he's got rid of the logical part of him, he's just going to straight up kill everyone in the Federation.
Yeah, he's going to kill everyone in the universe.
Yeah.
Basically.
He explains that he doesn't explain, but he basically says he is reconfiguring the subspace relay. He is reconfiguring the subspace relays in the Federation network to upload his own code. By doing that, he can control every base, planet, and starship within the Federation, vent atmosphere, trigger warp core explosions, and just basically cause havoc, killing everyone in the Federation.
Which is not good.
Now, I let out a sigh at this point of the episode because I went, not another AI taking over everything and killing everyone's story in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
We have had Star Trek Discovery Season 2 Control. We have had Season 1 of Star Trek Picard with the AI trying to get into our dimension. We have had Season 3 of Star Trek Picard, where no one learned from Battlestar Galactica. We have had Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, where another AI took over the Federation and started to destroy the fleet. Guys.
I mean, to be fair, evil AIs has been a Star Trek staple since the original series.
I know you love the Terminator. And I know you love that original series episode with the M5 computer. But for the love of all that is holy, let it die. Let this plot device die. Even for the next 10, 15 years, we don't need another AI taking over shit to kill people. We don't need it. It's done. You've milked it, all right? Much like our episode of Quiplash on the 24-hour stream, we milked milking.
And pegging.
No more.
If you didn't see the stream, we got Goodwill's parents to Google pegging. That is singularly my greatest achievement, I feel.
I screamed. The only time I have ever screamed.
You're like, don't Google it, Mom, and we're like, yes, you should.
I was like, no!
The rest of it just being little agents of chaos in the corner.
But no more. No more AI taking over shit. No more AI trying to kill people. Not right now. Okay, so that was my first sigh. Okay, so that was my first one. So
and then basically from that we then we go to another planet, don't we?
Well, no, because Mariner speaks to Rutherford because Rutherford is panicking because he believes that his creation is going to kill everyone he loves. Okay, but then Mariner reminds them that science, like what Tendi said, science is messy, but you should stick with it.
Yeah.
We sort of motivate him, and he's like, oh my god, Tendy's right. And he's like, well, technically I just said it, so I'm right, but okay. So Logic then has a plan.
Oh, I think that's the next bit. I think we've skirted over Plumeria.
No, we'll go back to Plumeria now, because they visited Plumeria, they've hopped on their little shuttle, and the planet was just conquered like that. This is
it is quite funny. The last time we saw Agamas, they're literally on a beach, and he goes, "Oh, she must have gone ahead of me to conquer the planet by herself. So I'll just go there and and do it." And then literally the next scene it cuts to is Agamas has already conquered an entire planet.
Yeah, because Tendy's just like, that was done quickly.
Yeah, he's just like, that's the quickest, you've done that in a matter of hours. And literally the entire planet has banners of Agamas.
Yeah.
And basically people chained up walking in the streets with like drones following them. And it's literally, he has conquered an entire world in a couple of hours because he's so evil.
And Bormula's just like, yeah, the Federation could definitely not reverse this in an afternoon.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, this totally won't be like undone by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Off screen. But I just find it funny that it literally cuts to his throne room and it's Agamas like as a box on a throne, surrounded by them.
But he's frustrated.
And just being like, oh, this is boring. Yeah, he's bored. He's like, oh, it's no fun when there's not someone to share it with.
Yeah.
But you know how we were talking earlier about how good the designers are and how they were designing all the robots? They designed an entire race for this. They designed an entire planet called like Plumeria. And all of the inhabitants of it who are like these weird lizard people.
Yeah.
And they're shown in about 2 shots. 2 shots have them in, and then we never see them again. And it's just like, what is this?
But they are forever within Star Trek lore now. And that's what I love about it. Yeah, this is what I love about it.
Subjugated by an evil AI.
But yeah, he's frustrated. He wants to know where Peanut Hamper is. He believes that she's either been captured or got lost or anything like that. And Tenny's just like, oh yeah, I can just find out where she is due to the parole thing. Oh, she's on Tyra 7, which is a research station in the middle of nowhere. And Agamas just deduces that she's been taken there against her will.
Mm.
And Boimler,
You've been kidnapped.
yeah, and Boimler's just like, yeah, that's cool. Anyway, about that information about the Binars, he's just like, take me to her. And Boimler's just like,
Yeah, he's just like, that doesn't matter anymore. You know?
yeah. So Boimler picks up the PC case and they head back to the shuttle,
So
leaving
they
this
take over the
conquered
whole
planet.
world and they just go, oh,
Yeah.
well, we'll just leave. That's fine.
Leaving this conquered planet to go find Peanut Hamper. On the Diviny ship, though, and this is my other side point of this part here. Logicky has melded with Badgie and is trying
He's jumped into Badgie and he's trying to meld back with him.
Now, again, this was my second and only sigh of the episode because I just went, this is season 3 Data and Law.
Yeah.
They are fighting each other. They are both essentially AIs fighting each other, and one has to die.
Yeah.
This was my only sigh. Logicky loses, gets snapped in half by Badgie, and disappears. And then the plan is that he's propelling the ship to warp 9.9, and then he's going to transmit himself throughout subspace. He does this. And he'd
like to become a digital god.
To become a digital god
thing.
Yeah.
And then before that actually happens, though, we go to Tyrus 7, where we've gone to the research station, and we see loads of exocomps. And exocomps, if you don't know, were something that we had in the Next Generation. They are what Peanut Hamper is.
They are huge in Star Trek Online as well.
Are they?
Yeah, you can actually get ex-comp duty officers and bridge crew,
really,
and people and ex-comps who will help you fight in battle on surfaces and everything like that. Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Fully fleshed out the old ex-comps. They are within Starfleet and have their own uniforms as well, which is cute.
Effectively, what they are is they're just little egg robot things, like little sort of robot eggs, but with a set of legs, and they can replicate different tools. But there's an episode of TNG where they are created and they are found out to actually have achieved sentience, where they actually can think for themselves and they can like avoid danger. And then it becomes this whole question of going, oh, well, they're meant as like robot servants, but they're sentient now. So now they have to have rights.
It's a good morality episode. Yes.
Yeah.
I like.
But then obviously Lower Decks and Star Trek Online have gone, hey, we'll just bring them back and have them as a thing. But basically we see a whole space station being manned by exocomps, where they're all tidying everything and they're cleaning the windows and whatnot. And Agamus obviously goes, oh, this must be some kind of penal colony because everyone's subjugated and everyone's doing mean servile tasks and stuff. And then they go inside and they find Peanut Hamper, who is with her dad, who is another exocomp. I don't know how it works.
They replicate themselves. You saw this in TNG.
But we didn't see it. We didn't actually meet Peanut Hamper's dad.
Oh, before. No, but that's how they reproduce.
He replicated her.
Yeah.
And basically, as soon as she hears Agama, she's like, oh, shit. I wasn't expecting him to turn up. But I think the best thing about this scene, though, is that while Peanut Hamper can talk and have actual words, her dad only speaks in Next Generation sound effects.
I love that.
Like Next Generation computer sound effects. And it was just this lovely little hearing them again after all these years.
Wait, so you don't speak LCARS? Wow. No. Damon has popped back into the chat. Hi, Damon from Nice, France.
What a lovely pink hand you have.
From Nice, France, not shit, Canada. We get the reunion of Agamus and Peanut Hamper, where Peanut Hamper, and everyone assumed watching this that Peanut Hamper had some diabolical psychopathic plan because she's just a sociopath. But she reveals that as she was planning this takeover of the little planet, which took an hour to take over, she genuinely felt remorse.
When she was writing the speech to convince the parole board that she was good, she actually kind of realized that actually she believed it, and she was.
Yeah. So.
And that she was just being evil to keep being friends with Agamus, effectively.
But then, Agamus realizes that he's subjugated people before, but he wanted to do it so he could still be with Peanut Hamper.
Yes, they could spend time together.
Time.
He only wanted to take over the universe so that they could spend time together doing it.
So Peanut Hamper just basically, she's no longer evil apparently, but she insists that Agamus does not need to subjugate people; they can still be friends, and introduces him to her father, Mr. Elkars, as we'll call him.
It's a surreal scene.
Daddy Peanut, Daddy Nut,
Peanut.
Daddy Nut.
Oh no, don't not Daddy Nut. No,
No.
you'll get me thinking of Lee again.
Oh, rest in peace, Lee. So yeah, and there's a lovely to and from between the father of Peanut and Agamus is like, no, we're not like that. We're just friends. We're just friends. We are not docking. We are just, we're really good friends. And I love the fact that Tendi and Boimler are just like, should we drag them back to Starfleet? And he's like, yeah, in a minute. Just let them have
it's
their
like
thing.
because obviously they're just like, they need to take Agamus back to jail effectively.
Yeah. Back on the Devani ship, they are heading to warp 9.9. Rutherford believes that there is still some good within Badgey. However, at the point he says that, Badgey transfers himself into subspace and is blasted from the Devani salvage ship across the subspace relay, and we do get some rather sexy cameos from the Cerritos, the Vancouver, which is in Nice, France, the Vulcan ship that Tallinn was on. We get Deep Space Nine, and we get Starbase One, and I'm like, oh, I know these places because I watched Star Trek, and yay! And Badgey's becoming more powerful than he imagined, and he just raises from the Milky Way galaxy for some strange fucking
this
Attack on
huge,
Titan
huge
reason.
godlike entity. It's almost like 2001. This huge entity being born into space of a giant badge, giant com badge, and then
he's more powerful than he ever imagined.
But then basically we have it where he fully ascends. He basically becomes that, and then he reappears in front of them on the ship, and he's changed to a blue color to represent that he's ethereal or sort of an enlightened being now. And he's totally ready to destroy all of humanity, destroy all of the Federation. But he decides not to, because he realizes that now that he's actually one with everything, he's part of everything, he can understand everything, he knows the past, the present, and the future, that he realizes how futile destroying everything is, how pointless creation, how pointless existence is, and how futile his actual plan was. And
so then he goes, okay, I'm going to go to an empty dimension and create a new universe.
So he decides to just go, oh, well, I'm going to go to another empty universe and go and create my own thing.
Or hang out with the Q.
And it's quite good. Yeah, he's going to hang out with the Q. I don't get it, though. He says, hang out with the Q and visit the Black Mountain.
The Black Mountain.
What is the Black Mountain?
When you die in Star Trek, you go to the Black Mountain, and you must fight on the Black Mountain.
What is this from? I don't know this.
It's from Lower Decks.
Is it?
Yes, this is
this is the random scenes we keep getting.
This is how Shax came back.
Yeah.
Because Shax died in season 1, came back. No one questioned it except Rutherford. And then Shax explained to Rutherford about the Black Mountain, and you just saw Rutherford's eyes turn into pinpoints in horror. So the Black Mountain is where you go to fight whatever it is to see if you die or you come back to life. And as the now ethereal Badgey is ascending onto a new plane of existence...
It's quite good because he kind of turns into a biblical angel, and it's it reminds me of Neon Genesis Evangelion, where it's basically he gets this wonderful shape around him that's like the silhouette of a biblical angel. So it's got 3 eyes, big wings, and it's him basically becoming a god figure effectively.
But then we see the great Koala.
Yep.
Praise be to the great Koala.
On the other side of the portal is the great Koala.
The great Koala, who is the divine
the most
entity.
surreal thing that Lower Decks has brought into the lore.
It's the great Koala. We will see the great Koala again, I am sure. So, yes, he ascends into a new plane of existence, and immediately the Devani claim Gudji as salvage, and they're just like, fuck off. Back
Yeah.
at Daystrom though, Agamus is locked into his cell right next to all the other PC towers from PC World. He claims that he is now driven to rehabilitate himself because then he is going to move
He's turned
in.
blue.
He's turned blue.
Permanently blue.
Dabba dee dabba da. Because he wants to rehabilitate himself so he can move in with his bestie.
Oh,
which is lovely. But Tyrannochillicus is there to just take the piss out of him, which I loved.
yeah. Well, that's it. He's now next to Tyrannochillicus, and who also wants to know how you can become good. So it kind of suggests that, like, you know how you have like serial killers where they find God in prison. It's almost like that, where sort of like where Agamus has become like a preacher, basically, where he's like, "Oh, I've seen the light" and whatnot. And it's quite fun, and obviously, yeah. So we get a bit of a sunset on Agamus there.
However,
and then
we finally, after 7 episodes, get some movement.
Yeah.
On this mysterious ship, because Agamus reveals to Boimler finally that these ships are not being destroyed; they are being stolen.
But it's being made to look like they were destroyed.
Yes.
So they're actually being pinched. They're actually being pinched by something and then leaving loads of debris behind to make it look like they were destroyed.
If this is a goddamn Pac-Led thing again, I will flip my table.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it was Pac-Leds again?
God, no. Please, no more.
I'm convinced. See, the problem is I thought it was something to do with Badgie, and it's just not. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it would be some kind of big plan, but it's just not. So we still don't know what it is. Maybe the Breen?
Keiko
I know
O'Brien.
we've seen the Breen already. It is obviously it could be
all the
Lord
strings.
Savior, Keiko
all
O'Brien.
The strings in the Alpha and Beta quadrants are all being pulled by Keiko O'Brien. This is canon. This is fact. Rosalind Chow has probably confirmed it herself.
One day we will get her to confirm it.
Next time I'm in LA, I shall find out where she lives and just go to Miss Chow.
Miss Chow.
Miss Chow. Could you please confirm that you are the most evil entity in Star Trek? And she'll be like, how did you get into my living room? And then
oh god, that must be a real thing that happens to celebrities over there. That's horrible.
It's horrible. I bet it is. The final scene, though, is Grappler Test 86 on the Cerritos, where Boimler has got the apple on a crate, and he's like, see, I knew we should have done this, and he fires it, and he gets fucking impaled.
Yeah, basically what happens is he fires it, it misses the target, bounces off the crate it's on, and then still goes and grabs Boimler and pins him up against the wall. So it could have been genuine murder. Again, you know, but then he's like,
yeah,
oh no, I'll let you.
No, please continue. I need to cough.
Oh, but no, and then he points out that, oh well, that test went a little bit better than the last one because now I've installed AI into the grapplers, and then Gudji appears, and it turns out that actually the grapplers are now being controlled by Gudji, which makes everyone in the room incredibly uncomfortable because it's still part of an insane AI.
Because there's an electric shock and you just see him freak out for a little tiny bit. His eyes just separate.
Yeah, it's one of these things where Gucci's like, no, I'm totally good. And then he freaks out and starts doing creepy stuff and they're just like, I don't think
I'm
you
going to
are.
go. And then just leaving Boimler pinned to the fucking wall by a grappler.
Yeah. So everyone makes their excuses. They leave the room and Boimler wants to, but he's still pinned to a wall and can't.
I'm going to say, and I think we discussed this before we went on air, this was the weakest episode of season 4. However, if this is the low point, this is a good series overall, season overall.
Yeah.
I've
got to say,
was a bit weak.
I'm sorry, guys, if it's felt like we're not as passionate about this episode as we are about other ones. But
Excuse
A,
me.
we're both ill.
Excuse
B, we're both
me.
incredibly tired. C, he's evacuating his nose right now.
As Monica said on
And
Friends,
D,
I'm in the prime of Lyme.
I felt the big problem with this episode, the reason why I didn't enjoy this episode so much is because it squandered a lot of good plot lines. And I'm
so sorry, I'm sneezing.
Oh, it's fine.
Please continue.
But, But it's the idea. Don't worry about me. Don't worry, I don't.
My damn body. Can I have one of those?
That mucus?
Can I have one of those rather sexy Picard golems, please? Anyway, go on, continue.
But yeah, but it's the what I found that it squandered plot lines that we were looking forward to from the moment we had the episode where we had Agamus meeting Peanut Hamper, and we saw Badgie, and we knew that they were going to come back, and it was like hinted that they were going to come back. I never thought that they would get three very similar characters, because they're all AI. They're all basically three AI characters, and then we give them all the same plot in one episode, and it just doesn't feel right. None of this episode feels right. Like, it has
there was so much wasted potential, I think.
But it has loads of stuff that annoys me. Like, the thing I don't like about Star Wars is basically Star Wars just makes lore up. Like, it's not Doctor Who bad, but it's basically just goes, yeah, now there's a thing where basically, if we do this, that'll solve this problem. And you're like, where's that come from? Why have you never done that before? So why the hell does traveling to warp 9.9 allow him to spread himself across all of subspace? And you know that it's just made up stuff to make the plot happen. But then it's the idea of Trek usually goes, oh no, there is a reason behind that, or there is a setup, or there's something in the lore that
I can solve that for you.
But it's still not as clean cut as we
it's not as clean cut, but I do believe, and anyone in the comments or anyone in the live chat can correct this, subspace transmissions travel at almost the absolute, I think almost at warp 10. Which is theoretically the maximum velocity that you can travel, where you suddenly. But I don't think it travels at warp 10, the salamander speed. But I think it travels at like 9.9999998 or something like that. So it will be, and most likely it's probably something from Voyager where they've said subspace transmissions travel at this speed. I mean, yes, there is still a delay, but it's warp 9.999 or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of wasted potential in this episode.
I mean, it's the fact that annoys me, because it's like, and also, why can what are they called? The Drukani?
Devani.
Devani.
What? Something like
How can their random ship do warp 9.9?
Yeah.
Also, the fact of like, how can this random like salvage ship just do that? And it's a bit like, yes, Badgie could probably manipulate stuff, but I'm sure he can't make their warp drive. All of it just it feels as disappointing as the bit on Buffy where it just has a random plot device where when it's Evil Willow at the end of that series and she gets defeated and then she goes, oh, I've got to destroy the entire world. Hey, let's just make a plot device that allows me to destroy the world, which is the silliest thing in the entire world.
Yeah.
Where she just goes, oh, there's an old satanic temple that's buried under the ground, and if you put enough energy into it, it'll destroy the world. And you're like, this has never been foreshadowed. This has never been mentioned before. This is literally a really stupid plot device that you just put in. And I expect better from Trek than this, especially Lower Decks, with how good and how clever and how on the mark Lower Decks has been. It was just very obvious in this episode that they were like, let's just have a plot and do some things. And it was disappointing. Like, and the idea of going, the whole point of Peanut Hamper being that she's constantly betraying people, it actually feels shit that she wasn't. It actually feels shit that she's been released from prison. She's gone off and she's gone, oh, actually, I believed what I said and I've totally turned a new leaf. And then she doesn't. She has. She literally, I was fully expecting her to then betray Agamus and betray everyone and be like, that's what I do. But now we're like, oh, she's actually turned good, but without us seeing any of it and it being totally off camera. That's a bit shit. You know, all of it is disappointing. Every single thing about this episode is like lost potential.
It feels like a Lower Decks filler episode.
Yeah, and considering we haven't had any of them this season.
Yeah, it's. But again, I mean, guys, we are not saying it's bad. We are just saying it could have been much better than what it was.
We've been spoiled this season, basically.
And we had, I mean, yes, everyone hates Peanut Hamper, but we had 3 huge characters, all played by Jeffrey Combs, and
Yeah, we
there
had
was
3
not enough
characters in
time.
this not doing enough.
There was not enough time. There was 24 minutes to fit 3 huge characters into one episode in an A-B plot and resolve it, and it did not work. Did not work. So
You could have made the whole episode Agamus. The whole episode could have been Agamus escaping again and everyone doing it. In this episode, Shax doesn't get to do anything. Captain Freeman doesn't really get to do anything. It's one of these things where it's an episode with a very limited cast, but then no one really gets to shine in it, aside from obviously Jeffrey Combs as Agamus.
Yeah.
But it just kind of annoys me. I would have much preferred to have 2 episodes and had one being the Agamus and Peanut Hamper thing, but with an ending that's literally, it would have been far better if it had Peanut Hamper and Peanut Hamper and Agamus, and then they just keep betraying each other. And then it turns around where actually they start betraying each other again, and then they totally betray each other, and everyone else is just collateral damage in this crazy galactic sort of war that they start or whatever. And then at the end, they find out actually they're in love with each other, and then they decide, oh, we'll just go and take over something else, and that's where it leaves it. So they're going, hey, they're still in the galaxy, they're still this threat, but they're kind of off camera now. That would have been far more satisfying than just because what was were they the B plot? Which was the A plot? Which was the B plot in this episode? I'm assuming Badgie was meant to be the A plot, but it doesn't feel like it.
Agamus and Peanut Hamper were the B plot. The overarching plot was the Binars and the mysterious ship, which was sort of then fed by the B plot towards the end. It was frustrating. However, we haven't got long to wait for the next episode for us.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little segue. So, yeah, we did this live on Monday as opposed to our regular slot on Friday because the wonderful Sammy and Dan from Monsters Up North celebrated Jason Voorhees' birthday on Friday the 13th of October.
Is it his birthday?
It was, yes. So if you haven't seen that already, please go on to the Nerdy Up North channel and look for Monsters Up North, and please give them a good old watch. But guys, that was our.
I love how ill we are.
I know.
I love that you're just sniffling and sneezing.
I need to wrap this up.
Sneezing. Forgive us, everyone.
I am so sorry. We will be more highly drugged on Friday than we are now.
We'll be back to full strength on Friday, and hopefully it'll be after a great Lower Decks episode.
Before we sign off, obviously thank you to everyone who has tuned in live. Thank you to everyone who is watching this back. We love each and every one of you. If you did like
not
this,
you though,
especially
person
not you.
listening, not
I
you.
see you. I see you on that exercise bike. I see you.
Yeah.
If you did like this video, please
put
give
that
it a like.
croissant down.
Yeah, especially when you're on the bike. If you did like this video, please give it a like, give it a old thumbs up. Please subscribe to Nerdy Up North. We've got all the descriptions of where you can find Nerdy Up North down there. As I said at the top of the video, if you can donate anything to cancer research, please donate.
If you want to punch cancer in its filthy ball sack, please donate whatever you can to our current campaign on Just Giving. The link is in the description below. Or if you're on Spotify, fucking search for it. Find it. It's on Just Giving. Nerdy Up North.
I want to thank Joseph Hurley, Mike Overton, Mark Cartier, Isaac from Unplanned Trek.
Who doesn't have a surname.
He doesn't have a surname. Mark has
he was born from an egg in Tasmania.
Mark has ordered Isaac not to have a surname. I would like to thank them all for being our very special guests during the charity stream. Rest assured they will all be coming back. Shaw and Mike were absolutely fabulous and threw us a fair few curveballs as well with their own questions.
Yeah,
which was really, really good.
They're really fun because I know you've spoken to them before, but that was my first interaction with them.
I really enjoyed it.
Listening to their show,
and I think
it's really good.
But let's not forget the ravishing General Kirky.
Yes,
who helped
we
us
had
as
General
well.
Kirky as
She
well, which
was
is like
fabulous during the
oh,
first part of Trekking Up North. But thank you to all there, guys. If you liked Shosif and Mike, they run the Clone Star podcast, whose link is in the description below. Please give them a subscribe.
there's everything down there.
Oh yes, well there is also our friends at the Shuttlepod Show, which Mark Cartier does. Our friends at Unplanned Trek. They've got Spotify. They don't do the YouTubes.
They don't do the
YouTubes.
No.
Those jam eaters in Tasmania, they don't do that. We've also got Captain's Quadrant, so we've got Joe's podcast down there, who will be with us on Friday to review episode 8 of Lower Decks. Hopefully we'll be more either drunk or drugged than we are today. But yeah, this has been our review of episode 7 of season 4 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Synoiz, have you got anything to plug at all?
No, I have time off. I'm relaxing this week. I've got a couple of videos and stuff to edit, and then I'm just going to be painting Warhammer and relaxing because I've had a hell of a last. I keep wanting to say month, and then I'm like, no, it's 2 months. No, actually, it's been about 3 months. So yeah, like a really busy last 3 months. So yeah, yeah, I've nothing that I need to mention before Friday's episode, which is very good for me.
I will be on Twitch tomorrow night, Tuesday, the 17th of October. I say will, maybe. I say maybe, possibly. I say possibly. It depends if they turn off the life support machine. However,
we will understand if you're not on.
However,
don't pressure yourself.
But we will get the lovely Sammy to draw a pentagram and resurrect me for Twitch tomorrow. What am I playing? We don't know. It might be something I played before. It might be something new. You're just going to have to tune in and see. The link is in the description below. But if there is no further business, Science Officer Synoiz, I think it's time we head back to the Adequate and go to bed, because we are extremely ill and extremely tired. So until Friday...
I'm going to replicate myself a new colon.
I'm going to replicate myself more tissues. So, until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.
Miles. Miles?
Miles?